Do you practice your long tones? Of course you don't. Why did I even ask? Hi, I'm the Saxophone Oracle, and today I want to talk to you about long tones. And actually, it's going to be more of a rant. I do promise towards the end I will show you some exercises you can do, but I just have to start out by getting a few things off my chest, so I apologize in advance. We all know what long tones are. We've heard about long tones forever. Everyone talks about long tones. But for some reason or another, people just don't practice them. It baffles me, it blows my mind. Look, if you want to get a good sound on saxophone, you have to play long tones. That's the answer. The answer is there for all of us in front of us. You talk to any great saxophone player, they will tell you, practice your long tones. How did you get a good sound? Well, I practiced long tones. I practiced a long time and I practiced my long tones. It's as simple as that. There are hundreds of videos about this on YouTube. Again, you talk to any player. The answer is long tones. How do you get good at saxophone? Practice. How do you get a good sound? Long tones. There's no way around it. You have to play long tones. The answer is long tones. You have to play long tones. I mean, there is no hack, right? Long tones is the hack, right? There is no secret code, right? The answer is long tones. It's work. You have to do the work. I mean, it baffles me. It's generally accepted in anything in life that if you want to get good at it, then you have to do the work, right? Plumber, do the work. Artist, do the work. Ice sculptor, do the work. Professional football player, dentist, teacher, acrobat. It doesn't matter. You have to do the work, and we all accept this. But when it comes to saxophone playing, we don't want to accept that in order to get a good sound, we have to do long tones. It's just crazy. I don't know what to tell you. You want a good sound. I get, Oracle, how do I sound better at saxophone? The answer, long tones. Do them 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day. That is the answer. There is nothing else to say. Long tones. Please, why don't you do your long tones? $1,000 mouthpiece isn't going to make you sound better. Coupling that with a $15,000 Mark VI, it's not going to sound better. You're going to sound terrible, but you're going to be poor. I mean, the answer is long tones. That's it. Long tones. Right? Like, okay, like I understand. It's work, it's hard work, it's not always fun, but it is the answer. The answer is there before all of our eyes and all of our ears. If you just play long tones, you're gonna get a better sound out of your instrument. That's it. It's so simple, and long tones are not hard to do particularly, right? Just do your long tones. I mean, I hear all, there are a million excuses. Stop your excuses. I don't like long tones. Guess what? Long tones don't like you. Oracle, but long tones are boring. Guess what? You sound boring. But my teacher doesn't make me do long tones. He doesn't think I need to. Get a new teacher. The answer is long tones. I can't. Long tones, long tones, long tones, long tones, long tones. Psst. Hey, the secret to sounding good at saxophone, long tones. I mean, what else can I say? Just long tones. You have to do it. Okay? So there's no way around it, right? We have to do the work. So if we have to do the work, why don't we just find a way to make friends with long tones? Learn to love long tones. I mean, really, are they that bad? Are they that boring? Like, let's break it down. Let's break it down here. Let's think about what we're actually doing when we're playing long tones. Okay? So we're standing up or sitting down. and we're relaxing, right? We're taking all the tension out of our body, just a state of complete relaxation. We're not thinking about anything, right? We're not thinking about our taxes. We're not thinking about politics. We're not thinking about our ex. We're not thinking about how we're going to pay off that $15,000 Mark 6. We're just sitting here, breathing, thinking about getting the air from here in your belly, up, out, through that metal tube, and into the air, and making it sound as glorious and beautiful as possible. I mean, what is that? That's meditation, right? I mean, people literally pay thousands of dollars to get coached into doing meditation. And that's a privilege we have in playing the saxophone. I mean, think about it in our busy lives. It's like, when do you have 5 minutes a day to do anything? 20 minutes a day just to sit down and think about nothing. Yet you've decided to play saxophone. That is part of your practice. Sit there, think about nothing, be as relaxed as possible, and play a note and hold it for a long time. Okay? What else is it doing? I mean, look, think about it this way, right? People go and they pay their hard-earned money to go to yoga class, right? They buy their mat, they put it down, they get their cute little Lululemon clothes, they got their water bottle, they got everything. And they go to that class. Yes, they learn how to stretch and do things, but what are they paying their hard-earned money for? To learn how to breathe, to play a saxophone, right? Fill your belly, then your chest, then everything else. Be relaxed, retain it, then control, blow it out with control. For a longer period of time than you inhaled. I mean, it's crazy. They're paying top dollar to learn how to blow into a saxophone, right? I mean, okay, if you do yoga, please don't stop, because saxophone is not gonna, help you with stretching and mobility and building strength or anything like that. But a big part of it is learning how to breathe, and people pay crazy money for that, and we just don't want to do a long tone, right? We're benefiting, if we're doing long tones, we're benefiting our body, we're benefiting our minds, and we're benefiting our playing by getting a better and better sound. It's as simple as that. It's not so bad. It's fun. I mean, if you're goal orientated, we can make games out of it and goals. It's limitless, but really, it's not that bad. Let's learn to make friends with it, because we have to do the work. There's no choice. There are a lot of great videos out there on YouTube about long tones and different saxophone things. I'm not going to go too in depth about long tones, right? Basically, there's 3 exercises. There's 3 ways of approaching long tones that I think are valuable and important. Okay, so we'll start with number 1. Number 1, just hold a note for a long time. Okay, simple as that. Make sure you're supporting your air, make sure you're relaxed, and play that note for a long time. The only thing I'm going to ask you to do is have a little introspection, a little self-critical analysis, right? We want to pay attention to the sound we're making and try, investigate, try different things, see how it changes the sound. Does it make it better? Does it make it worse? What do you like or not like? Do I wish it was brighter? Do I wish it was darker? Do I wish it was stuffier? Do I wish it was less stuffy? What happens if I use fast air? What happens if I use slow air? What if I take a little bit more mouthpiece, a little bit less mouthpiece? What happens if I use warm air? What happens if I use cold air? What happens if, while I'm doing this, I imagine I have a big tube and the air column is a big cylinder? What if I imagine the cylinder is a triangle? What if I move my jaw forward, back? What if I do something different with my lips? What if anything, right? So we're going to experiment, we're going to see what we can do, and see how it affects our sound. That's it. So that's the first basic thing. Hold a long note and test things out. Test the waters, see what happens. So that's one purpose of long tones, right? Is to do that introspection, that investigation. Another purpose of long tones is, of course, to build our air capacity and be able to hold notes for longer and longer and longer. So by doing this regularly, we're going to develop that if we do it on a regular basis. I would say do it with a metronome at 60 BPM. 60 BPM is the 1 click per second, and count. And then notice how when you started, how long you could hold it, and a month later, maybe you can hold it a lot longer. you know, so maybe you're retaining more air. Or possibly you're taking in the same amount of air, but just you're controlling it better so you can make it last a longer time while you're playing, right? And so you can make a game of that, right? If you're a goal-oriented person, then yeah, see how long, you know, use the long tone exercise to see how long you can, if you can hold a note longer than anyone in the world without taking another breath, okay? Now, the second exercise I want to show you is the one that I do regularly. I think it's the most important one to do. And basically what we're doing is we're taking the saxophone, we're going big breath of air, we're starting from as quiet as possible, from a whisper, we're in a crescendo until as loud as possible that we can control, and then decrescendo back down to that whisper, okay? And so why do we do this? What are we working on with this? Well, we're building embouchure strength. We're building our air capacity, of course, but we're learning to control our instrument, right? Because we need to be able to play at all volumes with a consistent, even sound. We need to be able to play in tune at all volumes, right? Good intonation. You know, playing loud is one thing, but to play beautifully, quietly, I mean, takes so much control and so much effort. So that's one thing we're working on there. Okay, so this one I'm going to demonstrate because I think it's really important. I think we should all be doing this. All right. Okay, here's how this is the one that I like to practice. Okay, here's how I do it, the crescendo, decrescendo. I put the metronome on 60 so I can keep track. Basically, I take a huge gulp of air. I start as quiet as possible, and I'm learning to manage my air, and we're learning to train our body, right? Because who knows, if we're playing in a band, we might need to play an extra long phrase, or we need to know how long we can go before we need to take another breath. There's all kinds of things happening with this exercise. So 60 BPM, focusing on even intonation, even tone, no warbling, no, just everything perfectly even, okay? Okay, and the other thing I wanted to mention, I forgot to mention earlier, is when we're doing this one, we want to take in the air, we want to manage it so that by the time we get all the way to the end, we're completely out of air. We're like trying to get rid of just the last little wisps of air we might have in us, like our sides are pushing so hard. So there, I probably should have gone a little bit longer, I kind of misjudged it, but you get the idea, right? Even intonation, even tone, control, everything controlled, breath support. That is a super beneficial way to practice long tones. And then, of course, I mean, I guess I have to mention it, but you know, the way we play in different ranges of the horn, down low, down high, changes. We have different kind of embouchure pressure, we have different kind of throat position. So you have to be doing long tones in all ranges of the horn. And you know, it's really hard. Try and do a long tone low B flat. Okay, so it's really hard. So do that. Do it up high too, in the palm keys, right? It's like there's all kinds of other embouchure stuff happening. So we need to do them everywhere. The third and final way that I would suggest practicing long tones, this one is more all about building stamina and chop strength. Okay, so what I do is I play a low note like a low C. I hold it, then I slur up an octave and hold it, slur up to the top of the octave, back to the middle, back down, then I go up a semitone and repeat. The thing is I don't ever take the lips off of the mouthpiece. So normally when we're supposed to breathe, we take it in through our mouths. For this purpose of this exercise, I take it in through the nose. So we're just maintaining constant contact here, right? It's like a resistance exercise. So if you do this for a little while, I mean, it's a real chop buster, but if you do it consistently, you're gonna get really strong embouchure strength. So I'll demonstrate that one. Etc., 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 etc. I mean, that's a real chop buster. I'm the Saxophone Oracle. Thank you for watching. Again, I apologize for the rant, but I felt it was necessary. I mean, look, the answer to the question, how do I get a great saxophone sound? It has always been. Yesterday, it was long tones. 50 years ago, it was long tones. Today, it's long tones. Tomorrow, and forevermore. It will be long tones. Okay, so I want you to do this, and here's my challenge to you. Record yourself today, playing whatever. Record yourself every month or two, playing whatever. Don't listen to it. Record yourself after 6 months. Now, over those 6 months, you're going to do long tones every day, consistently. Okay? If you do this challenge, when it's done after 6 months, go back and listen to those recordings. See the difference for yourself, what consistent long tone practice will do. And if you do this challenge for 6 months and you find you sound worse, I want to hear about it. Please let me know. I want to hear from the person who says that I practiced long tones for 6 months and boy did it make my saxophone playing worse. Okay? So please remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions about saxophone, jazz music, improvisation, get in contact with me. I would love to answer those questions in future videos. I think that's about it. I'm the Saxophone Oracle. Thank you. Happy practicing. Bye for now. Oh, Rufus, why do I even bother? They're not going to practice their long tones, are they?